classroom number 4 this week. Heading into week 5 of camp. Got a lot of good information here today that we're going to go through for you. Today's going to be all about our 2 high variations. So remember last week we talked about 1 high safety, 1 high variations. This week we're going to look at what we call split safeties, middle of the field open, looking at those 2 high variations. So let's jump right into it. Want to get into it because we got a lot of coverages we got to go through today. All right, we're going to try to get through. We're going to go through our 2, 4, and 6 of our zone coverages. We get into not very much man today. You won't really see much man out of the 2 high, and we'll talk a little bit about the hybrid coverages. So remember, we talked zone. We're looking at rules and responsibilities based primarily on the field zones. They will adapt to the formation a bit based on your alignment, whether it's condensed or an open formation. But for the most part, they're going to have rules and responsibilities where they have to cover an area of the field first, and then if nobody's in that area, they may move and kind of morph that coverage to make sure they're not wasting guys if it's a well-coached defense. All right, we get into the hybrids. These are more to provide increased help in the pass game, right? You can cover every player, keep some deep help available, give you some aggressive forms of coverage underneath. There's several different hybrids. We're only going to focus on a couple of them today, but you'll see the more and more we get into things, the more different variations in coverage you'll notice. All right, so first one we're going to talk about is cover 2. Cover 2 is a coverage that, very, very well known, famous cover 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers brought the Tampa 2 into prominence during their Super Bowl run. Monty Kiffin designed that defense. So you're probably familiar with cover 2, but this is one of the coverages that I would say we see the least at high school, at least in our conference and most of the teams we play. More teams are going to cover 4 because of the aggressiveness it gives you against the run and to match 4 vertical concepts, which has been a big issue when the spread offense started to develop. So defenses have moved more towards some of the hybrid coverages, but still a base coverage, something you need to be able to recognize and exploit. One tough thing about cover 2 is it forces you to throw the ball over the top. We'll talk about the alignment here. You'll see we've got 5 defenders underneath in these zones. So you get your corners playing outside leverage in cover 2, typically somewhere between 4 to 6 yards. You may get a press look where a corner wants to bail, but for the most part, they're going to be outside leverage of this X and Z receiver with their eyes looking inside, either into the backfield or to number 2 receiver or end man on the line of scrimmage to try to get a run pass read. And then these corners now have the differences in cover 2. These corners have run responsibility. They are now D and E gap run defenders, whereas in cover 3 and cover 1, where we talked about in the past, they have very little run responsibility. They're late help. Now the safeties are going to line up more on the hash marks. No, we don't have hashes on this diagram, but you'll see it when we get to the film. Safeties now are going to play deep. They're typically somewhere between 10 to 15 yards. High school, mostly 10 to 12. You get into a special situation, 3rd and long, they might deepen them to 15. You'll notice at the higher level football, they're going to play them really deep. They can play their safeties 18, 20, 25 yards and play cover 2 in the NFL. Okay, so the safeties now in cover 2, it's important to know they have no run responsibility. They are just the home run savers in the run. So they should be looking to get width or depth based on their run read. If we're going to play action, you're probably not going to get a good disciplined safety in play action against cover 2. All right, so the areas of the field we want to attack, you're to attack your curl zone, right? Especially to the side if you get 2 backers in the box in this 4-2 look. Your fade and your go zone, and then obviously the deep middle. All right, those are the areas we're looking to exploit. Good diagram here. Like we talked about, safeties in cover 2, you'll notice that they're going to be somewhere either on the hash in high school, or usually they'll shift about 2 yards, typically no more than 2 yards inside the hash. These guys have to split the field in half. So you're not going to see a guy shifting 4 or 5 yards inside the hash because he still is responsible for the deep outside zone. So this corner at the top, right, you're not going to see this guy shifted way inside here and then have to try to turn and make a play on a ball that's thrown outside on the sideline hash mark. So they're really going to be disciplined. It's a good indicator of cover 2. They're going to stay near the hash, usually no more than 2 yards either side of the hash. Corners, you're going to see outside leverage, eyes are inside. They were not going to play head up because their job is to not give up an outside release. Defenses know that they're weak in the fade zone on the sideline. So this corner's job is to funnel everything back inside to the safety and the linebackers where he has help. So number one rule in cover 2 for the cornerbacks is do not get beat outside on the release. Cover 4 becomes a little different. They can play a lot of different alignments in cover 4, but the biggest indicators you're going to see, we talked about depth, eyes, and alignment. Cover 4, your safeties are going to align on the receiver, right? You can see in the diagram here, the strong safety and the free safety, they're going to play depending on what type of cover 4 they're running, typically inside or outside shoulder of that number 2. We see a lot more inside shoulder leverage if it is an open side, open meaning that this number 2 receiver is not attached to the tight end. On the right side of the screen, you notice the tight end is attached. So now that safety is going to play outside leverage. The difference being that these safeties now are run support. So this strong safety over here, he has to be the run support. Anything to his side, he's coming down hard, and he is now the secondary run support. The corners now have no run responsibility, or I should say they have late run responsibility. So you're going to see in cover 4, the safeties are going to play a little bit tighter, right? These guys are going to be typically 8 to 10 yards here. Corners may be playing anywhere from, that 4 to 6 range, again, maybe a little bit deeper depending on the formation and how many threats they have to their side, okay? So those are the big indicators we want to look for. Safeties are tighter, 8 to 10 yards, and they're lined up over top of that number 2 receiver, not just sitting on the hash mark. Okay, in cover 4, you still got your deep middle open. You can go vertical. We'll talk more about that, but typically in cover 4, they're going to keep things in front of them. It's not going to be a traditional prevent like you guys see in old school manner. It's not like they're just dropping 4 guys deep. It's not a prevent defense. This is an aggressive hybrid defense trying to allow the defense to play zone and man principles and really try to take away as much as they can. But your short underneath zones are still going to be open and forward. Okay, you notice a difference in the alignment here. It's the same thing in the diagram we just saw. But the tight end down here to the bottom side, you got the safety. Walk down. Again, NFL, they'll play a little bit deeper, but this safety's at 10 yards, really tight over top of that outside shoulder of the tight end. To the open side here, or the weak side, you got the safety back at 15, but notice he's not worried about playing the field. He's on a shoulder, and you got the corners outside shoulder, and this guy's more head up to inside shoulder. So you can see a little bit of the difference. When these safeties are not at the same level, they are not playing cover 2 typically. Okay, so that's one of the biggest indicators. If those safeties are not the same level, you're getting some sort of 4 or some sort of rotation to one of those probably 1 high coverages. Okay, another good example of it here, just a high school diagram. Same thing. You can see those safeties have moved off the hash. They're over number 2 playing leverage there. Corner to the top side playing way inside on his leverage. They will never play cover 2 with inside leverage. All right. The next hybrid for cover 4, and this is what you'll really see a lot of this against 3-by-1 defenses. So what they do in order to play against 4 verticals is the weak safety away from the 3-man side. He's now going to, on any vertical threat, he is going to what we call cross-field read. So he's going to turn and run to the 3-man side, and if number 3 goes vertical, he's on it. Otherwise, he's looking to help on number 2 or anybody else that comes vertical. Solo, meaning that the backside corner is now man anywhere this receiver goes. Can play press, can play off, but he's going to man that guy up. Okay, and then they're going to play a little combination coverage here like they would in cover 4 with the corner and safety comboing number 1 and number 2. They've got the nickel back or the outside linebacker underneath to help. Okay, you can see how here you get the safety playing inside of number 3 now, outside backer, outside shoulder of number 2 receiver. The field corner is off, so he can look inside and adjust if they need to switch. One of the things you'll see a lot in cover 4 is that once the receivers release vertical, they're gonna combo this coverage. If the receiver releases past whatever their vertical landmark is on the defense, then they're gonna lock on. Some teams will use 6 yards, some will use 7, some will use 8, but they all have some sort of vertical threshold where if that receiver pushes through that, they are now going to lock on and they're going to man up that receiver, the safety in the corner. Okay, we'll see that more in the film. If he doesn't take a vertical release, that's why the corner has eyes inside. If, let's say, number 2 runs a quick out route, depending on how they're running it, but if 2 runs a quick out, then the corner may release number 1 to the safety, right? And now he's going to come up and take that quick out route or that flat route. You get it a lot more, excuse me, to the 2-man side. Okay, different front. This is the 3 front with 2 backers ready to walk up into a 5 down look. Doesn't matter. We're talking about shell. You can see, so instead of pressing now on the weak side, you got that inside leverage. He's playing man-to-man. You can tell from his eyes. To the top side, the safety is rotated all the way over to number 3. You're going to get a little bit of kind of a man look, but this safety is playing cover 4 principles, just a little 4 solo look against a slightly different defense here. Cover 6, we're going to try to fly through. I don't know if we'll get into this in full depth, but cover 6 just tells you you're going to have a cover 2 side and a cover 4 side. So you have one side cover 2, one side cover 4, and they're going to play the same principles. Cover 2 side, typically to the weak side, corner down playing 2, safety help over the top. To the strong side or the 3-man side, you'll get that cover 4 look, right? So you can tell deep safety on the weak side, corner's going to press, he's got help over the top, and now you're getting cover 4 principles out here. This is another 5 front team or 3 down, so this backer is going to read pass, and if he does, he's going to drop hard out into that curl hook zone. All right, let's go to our film here. Back through, change the screens for you guys. Okay, go full screen here for you. So first couple clips we're going to look at, these are variations of cover 2. You can see a 3x1 set, indicator, safeties on the hash marks, even though it's a 3x1 set. Corners outside leverage looking inside. All right, cover 2, you can see that corner at the top side. Now he starts to bail because if he doesn't get a threat in his flat, he's going to carry this number 1. So you got to understand, he's not just going to sit down here in the flats and, you know, automatically play that area of the field. If there's no threat there, he's going to bail and then he's going to rally up. So pretty easy indicator, a little high-low to the strong side. You get the vertical with the quick out, quarterback sets, a little late on the ball, but just gets it out, takes that 5-yard gain. You know, 2nd and 9 there, trying to get something positive. Okay, we go to a 2x2 set. See the safety's alignment does not change at all. The corners have widened just a little bit to get outside shoulder number 1 on both sides. Eyes are inside, looking for anything. If number 2 comes out to him, he's going to get hands on 1, try to redirect 1 inside so that the safety has time to get over the top on this. So his job is to not let that receiver get outside of him. Okay, little mesh concept. Quarterback decides to dump it out to the running back. You got to make a guy miss in the open field. But what probably should happen here is when this linebacker widens this hard and he wants to take this running back, quarterback should be looking for this dig coming in to replace him. Okay, you can see the corners bail, right? Linebackers wide. And you see the middle linebacker. This is what we talked about with that Tampa look. This Mike linebacker, he doesn't worry about driving on this, you know, crossing route in front of him. Instead, he's going to look to get back deep to the middle of the field. They know they're weak in the middle, so Mike linebackers are going to drop to the middle hole and try to help the safeties out there so they don't just get gashed down the middle of the field. Okay, different team, but a similar look. Okay, 2 high safeties. You see 1 on the hash to the trip side or the wide side of the field. This guy's a little bit wider. I wouldn't call it cover 4, though, because, again, they're at 12 yards. Most high school teams are going to be 8 to 10. You see safeties at 12, corners playing outside leverage, looking inside. Teams are not going to play cover 4 solo with this guy giving up inside leverage because he's got no help inside. So if this guy's outside leverage over here, he is not playing cover 4 solo against trips. All right, that is a huge indicator of cover 2 because if it's cover 4 solo, he's got no help. He'll just be giving up the slant all day on the backside, and they're not going to allow that to happen. Okay, see a little flash. Now we talk about play action. Play action in cover 2, since your linebackers and your corners tend to be your, your run help, then those guys are the ones that are going to be most affected by the play action. Like I said, safeties, you can see, even though you get run action, they read end man, they're starting to backpedal right off the snap. Quarterback does a good job just plant and fire right in that window behind the linebacker. It's a 4 verts look here. Now, Just because it's 4 verts is one thing we talked about in camp. Just because you call verticals or a post or anything over the top, that doesn't mean that ball's being thrown over the top. You got to attack windows. This is a seam route, a 4 vertical concept. That ball is thrown and caught at 11 yards, right in the hole, right in the void of the defense. Quarterback is ready to rip it right now. Hey, get a good view here. Fast forward a little bit. How quick this is going to happen. Just a little flash pop. That ball's out right now. Okay, 2x2 look versus cover 2. See, same play action. This is what happens. The corner is in bad position. He lets that receiver outside release. Again, outside vertical route, but this ball is caught. This ball's on the 29-yard line, is the line of scrimmage. This ball's caught right now at 20 yards. Even though it's outside vertical, that quarterback is not throwing the ball 40 yards downfield or even 25 yards downfield. You see where the safety is. If this ball's thrown at 23 to 25 yards, the safety's over here making a play on it, either intercepting or breaking it up. All right, so that's something we've talked a lot about. Give your receiver the ball in the window. Get it out of your hands on time. Okay, next one, we'll see cover 4. How do we know it's cover 4? Now we see the safeties have widened over the number 2 receiver. Even though this receiver's on the hash, this is why you got to read both sides pre-snap, right? Get a good view of what's going on. Outside leverage, they're down now. They are 8 yards from the line of scrimmage, playing leverage over the number 2 receiver. Okay, a little RPO with it, but you can see middle of the field is open. Quarterback gets the movement he wants, picks that hole in the middle. That's how we know it's cover 4. Easy indicators. Okay, now that they're going to show press here, 2x2 set, but you can see that these receivers are capped by the safety, meaning that that means the safety is over top him. Like I said, playing either inside or outside shoulder leverage. Okay, same sort of look, almost the same play here. Safety's locked down. You can see the safety to the top side, right over the tight end. Watch this guy. He's going to read run, cover 4. He's the insert guy. He's coming down hard now. Because of that, now when this ball is caught, he's not in position. Easy pitch and catch. And that's how you can take advantage of these aggressive cover 4 looks. Let's get our layout, our overlay on here. All right, 4 solo. This is a little bit different in terms of down and distance. It's 4th down. They're playing 4 solo. We know that because it's not cover 2. You get safety over the inside shoulder of the receiver to the number 2 receiver to the trip side. It's empty, but this backside safety is starting to rotate to the middle of the field. Means they're going to probably man up this linebacker as you see him in position. He's manned up on number 2. So these are all safety indicators that are going to tell you what's going on. You see that safety rotate to the middle. Easy pitch and catch on 4th down because the quarterback knows by reading alignment, by reading the depth, the eyes, he knows exactly where to go with that ball and take what he wants there. Okay, we get into the same defense, same team, stay with empty. And look, we're getting the same exact look. Quarterback knows that this weak side safety is already starting to rotate to the middle of the field to take that vertical away from number 3. Okay, when he does, you got a little post wheel concept on the backside. Why does it matter that you know the alignment? Because this corner is outside leverage. He's giving up inside release on the post, and his safety is leaving that side of the field. Quarterback knows that, sees that, drives it in, post, touchdown. Okay, big play there to attack the coverage. Okay, this is 4 solos. This will be our last one here. But you can see you get the backside look. Okay, backside safety, isolated. Okay, he's across the field. Quarterback's going to take the high-low and cover 4 and, get the one-on-one that he wants. All right, guys, we're going to be up against time here, so I'm going to cut it there. Okay, indicators that we'll get into next week for the cover 6. We'll add that in, but understand your indicators of cover 4, cover 2. Understand how to read that pre-snap and know what the defense is allowing you to have, what they're giving you, and what they're taking away with it. All right, we'll get in those indicators and we'll attack those coverages this week with our route concepts. So great job. Keep up the good work. As always, post any questions or comments underneath the video, and I'll get to those and answer them this week and this weekend.